We're going to move on to Eesti Laul semi-final 2. As I said, there were 6 entries that have gone through to the final, which takes place on the 16th of February. And ask Elliot, what were the highlights of tonight's show for you?
For me, there were only 2 that really stood out for me positively. And luckily, they are my top 2 of the 24, so I'm glad they qualified, which was Kerli Kivilaan and Uku Saviste. Kerli is my winner, and I think she did deliver that tonight, thankfully, because after the first semi-final, I was a bit worried about how she would fare after seeing Sandra, have to rely on the public.
Mm-hmm.
And Uke, I think, is a contender to win it. I think those 2 could really compete with the top 2 I felt from the first semi-final, which were Stefan and Victor Cologne. So I think they are the 4 to watch in the final, really.
Yes, well, I mean, there was a lot of poor vocals this evening, and there's a couple of acts that I would have expected to go through, Grete Paia and Around the Sun, but they didn't hit the money when it was coming to the singing, so I'm not surprised to see they go out. I had basically Uko, as I was blown away by that, especially the fact that you had the first 30 seconds, 40 seconds where it's just a dancer on the stage and him not there at all, just singing in the background. And that was really impressive for me. And then he came out and he was superb, brilliant vocals. It's great lyrics and a story in there. And the dancer was great all the way through. And I think that's a potential winner of the whole thing. Kerli, I didn't quite get, because I think she was trying too hard at the beginning with her vocals. And the fact she was on the stool all the time just made it fairly static. I like Kaia with Believe. That was quite, a really nice orchestration and story told. There's some vulnerability there. I know some people weren't as keen, but I thought that was more like a Blanche type vulnerability.
Wo sind die Katzen?
That was pretty bonkers, and I quite liked it. But she was singing all the right notes, but not necessarily in the right order. So she didn't really perform it very well. I think one of my favourites was Kathleen Maggie and Jan Peck with Palmer Mang. I love the twangers, the twang things. Yay.
I love that. They were mad as a box of frogs. Loved it.
For me, it was Kaia that was the favorite of the ones going through. I liked Around the Sun, but they didn't do it vocally. So that was a little disappointing. And also the cats. I really like the cats. They were the highlight of the evening. Maybe not the song, but the cats themselves.
There is Estonia's answer to Jane McDonald, Sin Valtteri. I'll do it my way. I've got 80s glitz vibe. I've got happy. I've got potential Schlager. I can see Michelle is there, quite happily, just like totally thrilled with this idea. She loved it. Nicholas, was this a good opening song? Do you think, this is something that could perhaps do well in the final, or does 1985 need its Eurovision entry back?
I mean, maybe it was a good opening, but that's all it was.
No, her voice was really weird. Was I the only thing? It was sounded as though she had some weird reverb on her voice, and that's her natural way of singing. But as I say, it wasn't the worst vocal on the night. I thought it was going to be, but we obviously had worse following on from that. But I was totally surprised that was called out last.